I feel like we know each other well enough to tell you all about my parents' divorce. Listen, if you thought this was the product of a happy home, you need to readjust your expectations, all right? They finished the process of getting divorced when I was about 15, 16 years old, and I was very surprised because I always thought divorce was some rich people shit. I heard my parents were splitting up, and my reaction was, wow, the family's doing better than I thought. You two can get divorced, but you can't get me a PlayStation. I see how it is. And if anything, my life got a lot easier after they got divorced, really, because I'm the eldest kid in the house. I have two little sisters, so I'd be the one mediating their fights very often. And after they split up, they could only fight over text message, so I got to be like a diplomat during the Cold War, just relaying messages between these two assholes. Like, hey, Russia, can you not call America a dumb bitch before noon? That's my mother you're talking to. But when they were together at home, they were very violent with each other. They fight all the time, and I'd have to get involved. Like, as young as like 13, 14 years old, I'd stay up at night and listen to them fighting. And if it got too loud, I'd go up to the door and look through the keyhole and see if it got physical. And if I saw a hand getting raised, I'd just rush in there like a little referee and push them apart. Like, come on, guys, let's have a nice, clean fight tonight, all right? No closed fists, no uncut nails, open hand only. Will Smith rules in this house. Show some decorum. This is silly. I always took my mother's side because I love an underdog. No, but mostly we had a much easier relationship at the time, you know, because my dad, I think any anger he couldn't take out on my mom. I was the only other guy in the house, so he took it out on me. He used to hit me a lot. It really upset me at the time. It still does. You know, I haven't quite forgiven him for it. I have a little bit more empathy for it as I've gotten older. You know, he was around my age, like only a bit older than me. He had 3 kids. He was dealing with a lot. I feel like a grown man doesn't hit a kid half his size because everything's going well for him in life. Well, people do strange things when they're having a hard time. If I'm having a terrible week and I see a flock of pigeons just minding their own business, I'll just check if the coast is clear and chase them around for a little bit. Assert my dominance over nature, you know. And it wasn't too bad. My grandmother always lived with us, so whenever my dad would get at me, I would run through the house into my grandmother's room and hide behind her and wait till he came in and give him the finger from behind his own mother. I felt very powerful. And a part of me is happy that I had both of those influences growing up. I feel like anyone that ever amounted to anything had someone in their childhood that made them feel very special, and that was my grandma, and someone that made them feel like a piece of shit, and that was my dad. And I don't think we would have ever heard of Michael Jackson if his dad, Joe Jackson, didn't treat him terribly. Because you know who Joe Jackson was nice to? Tito. And half of you are wondering who the fuck Tito is. That's my point exactly. It got a lot easier after I hit puberty, though, because then I grew to around his size. I feel like any son that's had trouble with a violent dad remembers the first time you blocked his punch. That shit feels amazing. You feel like you were in Dragon Ball Z. You just blocked that shit. And then the thought crosses your mind like, oh shit, I can kick this old man's ass. And then you remember that he still pays for everything in your life and you let him continue. I was like, oh shit, Wu-Tang is right. Cash does rule everything around me. This is very irritating. That's why since I was a kid, I've always viewed having some money, financial independence as freedom, in a way. Like if I could get a job and get out of Sri Lanka and get away from this guy, I'd be safe by myself. You know, I can't wait to have so much money that I forget where I came from. That's where I want that amnesia money. I want that Preeti Patel money where I turn my back on my people altogether. Strangest thing to clap for, but all right. No, really, because people say they have principles, but everybody's got a price. If I'm being completely honest, mine is not that high. Yeah. You throw me a few grand, I'll go to the beach and kick back refugee boats myself. Like, not today, you broke motherfuckers. These are my white people. I got here first, finders keepers. I told you not to clap. The first place I left Sri Lanka for, I went to medical school in Malaysia. I went to medical school because since I was a kid, I've always been very passionate about financial stability. Why else would you do this terrible profession? I learned that at a very young age. I feel like it's unavoidable growing up in Sri Lanka. You learn at a very young age to dream practically, like aim lower. I remember when I was a kid, I'd want to do dumb things, what I thought was dumb at the time. I told my parents once that I want to be a chef, and they looked at me and said, as far as the world is concerned, boy, you're a cook. That sounds very harsh in a way, but I really feel like they were protecting me. I really do. And just to iterate their point, my dad sat me down and put on Ratatouille, which I thought was a beautiful, uplifting film. But he was like, no, really watch this. This film takes place in Paris, a city full of immigrants, just like you're going to be when you leave home. And who got the job? A French rodent, all right? This is where you stand. Why did he get it? Because he knew the owner's son. This is what you're up against. That's an important lesson to learn at a young age. I feel like some people's parents lie to them and tell them that they're special and they can be anything they want to be and it'll all work out. And that's just not true. That's how people leave the house thinking they're going to be a CEO and are disappointed when they end up a project manager. Like musician, barista, DJ. Not everyone I was in school with quite agreed with me. I had a few people in my class who'd say things like, you shouldn't worry about all that. You shouldn't worry about employment. You should just go with the flow. Just go with the flow, and the universe will provide. And to that, I say that the universe is a very strange nickname for your rich parents. I don't know. That's a strange relationship, it sounds like. I envied them, though. I wish I grew up with money so I had this sort of level of confidence where I could just say dumb shit with enough charisma that it sounds profound. I want to do things that contradict themselves and feel okay about it. I want to do things like be vegan, but do coke every weekend. Because cows' lives are very important. Colombians, not so much, apparently. These are the same sorts of people that say things like money won't solve all your problems. Money won't. This is some shit that only someone that has always had money would say. Because if you've been broke, you know that at a certain level of brokenness, money solves literally all of your problems. 100% of them. So I went to medical school. It was a very strange situation. It was Newcastle University in the UK set up this very sketchy twinning campus in Malaysia. And I remember them advertising it in Sri Lanka, and the banners read, "First world education at a third world price." And I was like, oh shit, that's my whole vibe. This was meant to be.